40 miles from London, 1.5 miles from the Kent coast. Beneath 15 metres of murky water, a ghost from 1944 still waits. She was built in Florida in 1943, a Liberty ship, mass-produced by American shipyards to keep Britain alive. The design was simple, cheap, quick to build, welded, not riveted, perfect for wartime production, not perfect for surviving the unpredictable waters of the Thames estuary. Her name was the SS Richard Montgomery, a standard Liberty ship with a standard wartime mission. In August 1944, she was loaded with 7,000 tons of bombs and ammunition. The cargo included 1,000-pound blockbuster high-capacity bombs, cluster bombs, anti-personnel fragmentation bombs, pyrotechnics, white phosphorus, and fuses containing lead azide and lead styphnate. She was bound for Cherbourg, France, supporting the Allies after the Normandy invasion. The D-Day landings had been 2 months earlier. The Allies needed ammunition. The Montgomery was carrying it. She never made it. On August 20th, 1944, strong gales forced her to drag her anchor across the North Sandbank near Sheerness. The hull, built with welded seams, could not withstand the pressure. It cracked. Seawater flooded the forward holds. The ship broke in two. The crew evacuated. The salvage attempts began immediately. They failed. The hull split entirely into 2 sections. The bow and stern now sit separated on the sandbank. 82 years later, those 3 masts still rise above the water, a permanent tombstone, a warning. Approximately 1,400 tons of high explosives remain inside the forward section. Some of the most volatile ordnance ever produced. Still there, still waiting. The cargo inventory is staggering. 1,000-pound blockbuster bombs designed to destroy entire city blocks. Cluster bombs intended to scatter fragmentation over wide areas. White phosphorus, which ignites on contact with air. And fuses containing lead azide and lead styphnate, primary explosives that detonate from the slightest impact. For 8 decades, seawater has been eating away at the brass and copper casings. The primary explosives are now exposed. They can recrystallize. They can become shock sensitive. A falling mast, a shifting hull, a collision. Any of it could trigger a sympathetic detonation. The chemistry is terrifying. Lead azide and lead styphnate, when submerged for decades, can form crystals that are extremely sensitive to friction, heat, and impact. They become more dangerous with age, not less. If that happens, the experts have modelled the worst-case scenario. A column of water and debris 3,000 metres high. A 5-metre tsunami. Shockwaves that could shatter every window in Sheerness. 5 kilometres away sits the Isle of Grain. It handles 1/5 of the UK's liquid natural gas. 28 petroleum tanks. 5 natural gas tanks the size of the Royal Albert Hall. A secondary explosion at the LNG facility would be catastrophic. Thousands dead, millions displaced, a permanent scar on the British landscape. One expert called it a serious threat. Another said the wreck is a ticking time bomb. And there is precedent. In 1967, a salvage attempt on the Polish ammunition ship Kielce triggered an explosion. It registered 4.5 on the Richter scale. It dug a 50-metre crater in the seabed. It caused structural damage to homes in Folkestone. The keels carried a fraction of the munitions now lying off Sheerness. The lesson was clear: do not disturb the Montgomery. So the UK government did what it always does. They designated the wreck under the protection of Wrecks Act in 1973. They created a permanent exclusion zone. They marked it on every Admiralty chart. They posted warning buoys. They placed the site under 24-hour surveillance, CCTV, radar, patrol boats, a permanent no-fly zone banning aircraft below 13,100 feet within a 1 nautical mile radius. And they told the public the risk was remote. But in April 2026, the House of Commons confirmed the ongoing high alert status. They verified the continued 24/7 guard. They admitted the site was still a priority. The contradiction between the remote risk narrative and the high-intensity security resources was laid bare. The surveys kept coming. In 2024 and 2025, new reports revealed alarming changes. The forward section of the wreck is splitting in two. The hull is tilting. The deck is collapsing into the holds. The seabed beneath the wreck is being eroded away. The masts, once stable, are now unsupported. They could fall at any moment, and if they fall, they could punch through the cargo holds. After years of delay, the government finally took action. In July 2026, they confirmed a £9.5 million project to remove the 3 masts. A specialist team from Resolve Marine will construct an underwater platform. They will use a diamond wire saw to cut the masts below sea level. The operation will take several weeks. Once removed, the masts will be preserved at Chatham Historic Dockyard, a permanent reminder of the Allied war effort, a monument to the 1,400 tons of explosives still sitting on the seabed. But the removal of the masts does not solve the problem. The explosives remain. The hull continues to deteriorate. The risk of a collision remains. The threat of an explosion remains. One expert said removing the masts is not enough. The government should remove the bombs themselves, but that would require a full-scale salvage operation. Months of work, a mandatory evacuation of Sheerness, millions more pounds, and the risk of triggering the very explosion they are trying to prevent. So they will do what they have always done: monitor, guard, wait. The SS Richard Montgomery has been sitting on the seabed for 82 years. At the current rate, she will remain there for many more. The masts are coming down. The explosives are not. The wreck is not alone. The debris field extends over 5,000 square meters. Parts of the hull have collapsed. The cargo holds are exposed. Divers have reported seeing bomb casings visible through the broken steel. The government insists the bombs are stable. The official position is that the explosives are neutralized by seawater. But scientists have pushed back. The New Scientist has published detailed analyses showing that seawater does not neutralize primary explosives. It makes them more dangerous. The official line is about avoiding panic. It is about protecting the shipping routes. It is about the cost of doing nothing versus the impossible cost of doing something. But the people of Sheerness know the truth. They have lived with the wreck their entire lives. They have seen the patrol boats. They have heard the stories. Some of them have stopped reading the news. Some of them pray. Some of them just try not to think about it. And the question nobody has answered is this: what happens when the hull finally gives way? What happens when the debris field shifts? What happens when a ship ignoring the warnings, collides with the wreck. The masts are coming down. The bombs are not. The threat remains. The SS Richard Montgomery has been sitting on the seabed for 82 years. At the current rate, she will remain there for many more. The masts are coming down. The explosives are not. And the question nobody has answered: what happens when the hull finally gives way?